Well, it's a big show.
Welcome to the Fade Route
It's a big bad show tonight.
with DNZ.
Yeah, it's a big show.
Here are your hosts,
Crack it up, turn on them lights.
DNZ.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D, and we've got a great show for you tonight. The Warriors and Celtics are tied 1-1 heading to Boston. The Avalanche send the Oilers packing, and the Rangers fail to put away the Lightning. But we'll begin today's show with some baseball. The New York Yankees are a Major League best 39-15. Despite starting center fielder Aaron Hicks only batting .217, Joey Gallo being out most of the season, Aroldis Chapman being out. Does GM Brian Cashman need to do something about Gallo and Hicks, or can they cruise all the way to the World Series behind Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole? Z.
Well, first and foremost, this team is legit when it comes to pitching. Like we've been saying for years.
That's big from you. That's big coming from you.
It is big.
Now, big coming from you.
When we take into account stats across the board, right? First in quality, second in quality starts, first in WHIP, first in batting average against, first in ERA. Now a lot of that comes from the bullpen, right? The stellar job that Clay Holmes has done. Like Pittsburgh, like a gift, just gave the Yankees a lovely gift in Clay Holmes. But, you know, Garrett Cole, I would argue that Garrett Cole's been probably the worst of the bunch, right? J-Mo Tyone was pitching great. He took a perfect game the other day. Like Garrett Cole took a perfect game the next day. But he's been up and down. Nestor Cortez has been a revelation.
Nestor the molester.
Oh, we'll get to Jim Cott later. Oh, we'll absolutely get to Jim Cott later. But, you know, Nestor Cortez right now, like, I would say, like, he's on pace to start the All-Star game. Like, he's been that good this year.
He's an All-Star, Dave.
Yeah. He is an All-Star. He's an All-Star. What more can you say? And then even Jordan Montgomery. Jordan Montgomery has been solid. I watched him the other day. With my school, we went to see him against Noah Syndergaard, and Noah Syndergaard promptly shit the bed. So good job by Montgomery there.
Amber Heard style.
Objection hearsay. But, you know, they're solid offensively. You know, they have definitely, you know, they have put up a fair number of runs. They're, you know, middle in the pack of batting average. Again, batting average, as we know, is an antiquated statistic, blah, blah, blah. But slugging percentage, second in the league at .425, a .321 on-base percentage, 258 runs scored, sixth in the league. The Mets are number one in the majors. So
I like how you threw that in there.
That's what I do. But if you're looking at this, it is kind of miraculous in some instance, right? Kiner Falefa has struggled, you know, trying to replace Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres is finally kind of rounding back into form at second base. He's definitely rediscovered his power stroke. Donaldson, when he's not saying racist shit, has been kind of decent. They're getting big contributions from Matt Carpenter. They just got Giancarlo Stanton back, but they're doing this without Joey Gallo. Without Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo, we were critical of it last year, and we're even more critical of it now. Joey Gallo is a liability. I get that he's defensively great, but the three true outcomes, he's not good. He's only good for 2. Strikeout, and actually not even home run this year. He's good for 1, which is a strikeout. Rizzo has taken a step back this year, at least average-wise. For now, I have no doubt that Rizzo is going to be there at the end. He's going to post. Same thing for LeMahieu. I would argue that they need 1 or 2 more outfielders, and they need a catcher. You know, Higashioka and Trevino, Trevino's done a great job, but how long can you rely on Jose Trevino to be like the backstop, right? He's 29. He's been around the block. Gary Sanchez wasn't the answer. I'm not saying that Gary Sanchez was the answer, but they may need to go out and plug a hole, by, seeing what's available come deadline time. If we look at the rotation, Severino, we'll see. He's been pitching well as of late. I need to see it all year long. Like, is he going to fade down the stretch? Michael King has been great out of the bullpen. Is he going to fade down the stretch? They definitely need to add, because you always need to add. You cannot coast with the roster that you have. And now with this Miguel Andujar thing, it makes you wonder what's going to happen come trade deadline. And do the Yankees have a chip in Andujar that can get them a big-time bat or a big-time catcher, or even somebody to fortify that rotation so that they are loaded even more come playoff time?
Yeah, I don't understand how the Mets and the Yankees are in first place with the lineups that they're putting on the field every day. I just don't. But then again, when we look at this, the Twins are in first place in the AL Central. The team that we both said was giving up on this year is in first place. And right now, they're the only team in their division that's over 500. How about them apples? I went to a game a few weeks ago, and the first three batters were Rizzo, Judge, and Stanton. That's just ridiculous. Like Rizzo's your leadoff hitter.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? And some guy named Trevino was the catcher, and the center fielder was still looking for their first hit as a major leaguer. I kid you not. This guy playing center field, it was in his 10th major league game, and had yet to get a hit. Aaron Hicks was playing left. He wasn't even playing center. The guy who doesn't have a career hit was playing center. I'm not sure how sustainable it is, but you're winning without these guys playing. So my whole thing is you don't need them, right? Even Stanton was hurt for the last 2 weeks. They still posted a good record the last 10 games. Let me just pull it up here. They were 8-2 while Stanton was out. So if you're winning without Stanton, you're winning with a bullshit catcher, you're winning without your closer, you're winning without the left fielder that you went and got, then you're wasting money on these guys. Shouldn't you be trading these guys for prospects? I'm not even talking about trading these guys for major league players that you could add into your lineup right now. But you're in a position of power right now, right? You have a chance to fortify your team for the next 10 years by trading some of these guys that you just don't need them. Like you said, they're leading the league in runs against. There's nobody within 50 of them. That's how good their pitching is. So it would behoove them to get ahead of this curve right now and either cut these guys or trade these guys.
The problem is you're selling low on both Hicks and Gallo. What are you going to get? And on top of that,
they're low. They're low. They suck anyway. They suck.
They suck, and they get paid a lot of money. So the Yankees are going to have to either take 10 cents on the dollar and take a 16-year-old prospect that they just signed at the Dominican League, or they're going to have to, pay 75-80% of that salary. That's what the Yankees are going to do. They're going to have to cut their losses.
But when push comes to shove, right? When push comes to shove, can this team go toe-to-toe with Houston? Can this team go toe-to-toe with the Mets? Can this team go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers?
No, because they've proven they haven't done it.
Right.
They haven't been able to do it.
Exactly. My answer is no. My answer is no. When they face a good team in a 7-game series or even a 5-game series, they're going to get ousted. And that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, you're slapping all these guys around. I think they're beating the Twins right now. Slap Baltimore, Boston,
Detroit,
your division. Yep. Yeah, sure, makes sense. Toronto might sneak up on you, man. They're 7 games back, but let me tell you, their 1 through 9 are all ballers. They're all players.
You can never sleep on Tampa Bay.
He can't sleep on Tampa Bay, and also, who's only 8 games out. Also, Toronto doesn't have the pitchers and the arms, but I mean, I think we both could look at the Yankees and say, man, you're one arm away from being done, right? You're a Nestor Cortez or a Garrett Cole or Luis Severino away from being like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, your depth hasn't been tested yet.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like, this is still early in the year. We just passed Memorial Day, the official quarter pole of the season, and the Yankees are definitely, and kudos to the Yankees. They're playing way above where they should be right now with some of the names that they're running out there. Even out of their bullpen, they're running out, retread Miguel Castro. They are there. But that's my whole thing is, like, I went to a game and I don't watch them as regular as I usually do because I have Hulu now. I stream, so I don't get Yes Network. But when I do see them play and when I go to their games, it's just like, this is like okay. Like, this isn't the '98 Yankees. This isn't the '99 Yankees. This isn't the 2003 Yankees. Like, yeah, these guys are winning games, but so are the fucking Twins. So are the Cleveland Guardians. Like, their Angels were 23-13 at one point. Like, it doesn't. To me, to me, this is a very weird season where, we don't. Other than the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Mets, we don't have an identity, right? There's not a team out there that are like, man, watch out for these guys, or they could peak at the right time and off somebody, right? We don't see that this year, at least not yet. Not yet. I mean, teams are going to fall out of it, like we know. You're going to have players. Cincinnati may reconsider, some offers on Luis Castillo. You may have some guys, changing uniforms.
Definitely.
Very soon. But you know what? If you're a Yankee fan and you're seeing the results based on what you have, you got to take pride in that. You definitely have to take pride in that because, they don't have their A lineup every night,
right,
and they're still delivering the goods.
Sure, you can take pride in it, but understand that you cannot coast. Like, this isn't the 98 year or the 99 year where you're just going to beat everybody's brains out. Like, they need to make moves. They need to shore up some positions.
We love youth sports. Not only do they get the kids out and active, but they teach the necessary skills of teamwork, sportsmanship, and fair play. One organization that we are proud to partner with is Ossining AYSO Soccer. Their mission is to develop and deliver quality, player-centered youth soccer programs that promote a fun, fair, family environment where everyone is welcome and everyone plays. If you have a child between the ages of 4 and 18, registration for the Fall 2022, Spring 2023 season opens April 27th with an early bird special. Sign up before June 15th for only $175 per child. For more information, to sign up, or to volunteer as a coach or referee, go to ayso201.org today. The more volunteers, the more children can enjoy the youth soccer experience with Ossining AYSO. That's ayso201.org. More soccer for more kids. ayso201.org. Visa and MasterCard payments only.
In celebration of Pride Month, the Tampa Bay Rays had Pride Night last weekend. And all the players were scheduled to wear Pride color logos on their uniforms. But hold up. While some players had no issues with the colorful display, other players refused to rock the logo, citing religious or personal reasons. What do you think of the Rays' division in something as simple as Pride Night?
Well, we're looking at specifically pitchers Jason Adam, Jalen Beeks, Brooks Raley, Jeffrey Springs, and Ryan Thompson. So it's not, it's 5 out of 26 guys. So effectively, it's like 20% of your team because you only have 26 guys on your roster. But, that's definitely, it's definitely smelly. It's definitely something that kind of reeks of homophobia, and it just doesn't sit well. Especially, we want to be, a society of inclusion. We want to be a society of diversity. We want to, wrap our arms around people and say that you matter and you belong. And you have an instance like this where, they're citing religious reasons for that reason, the reason why they didn't wear the Pride logo, and that, basically like, oh, we don't condone that, but, we completely understand your lifestyle. We just don't condone. Dude, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just shut up. And Jack Flaherty of the St. Louis Cardinals actually tweeted effectively that it's just completely unacceptable that you can't be tolerant for a night, just one night. We're not saying you wear it all the time. We're not saying you're changing the race colors to the rainbow for the pride flag. It's one night. You can suck it up for a night, and you may not even pitch on said night. Suck it up.
Right. It's not a reflection of your views. No one's looking down on you for what you're doing. It's like you said, it's about inclusion and celebrating a night. Like, no one's asking you to put like a choking baby on your armpit or your arm or whatever. You're making this out to more than it needs to be. And I even think in one quote he talked about the Bible and that's just, come on, dude. Like, there's incest in the Bible. There's a lot of things that happen in the Bible that, is not supported every day. And we're not asking you to come out and say anything. It's just a matter of, put it on your jersey. Who gives a crap? Like, would you not wear a red ribbon? Like, how far does this go? And it was all about the fans that night. It was all about the people that were coming into attendance. And there was no harm going to be done in it. No one's asking you to make a donation. No one's going to question you about it. You're not going to be brought up on the altar when you go to church on Sunday. I just thought the reasoning behind it and the excuses that were given were a little ridiculous. And I actually have a problem with the Rays as an organization as well, because if everybody wasn't on board with it, then you shouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? Like, you should have took the temperature of the room, because maybe it's not dividing your locker room, but it's definitely dividing people's opinion and views of the Rays. Like, I feel differently about those players now because of the way they act in this circumstance, and I didn't, because it's just a baseball game. I shouldn't, because it's a baseball game. It's not a political forum. It's not an area where we're bringing something up for debate. You're throwing something on your uniform. Like, I don't agree with Nike's fucking workplace practices. That doesn't mean I don't have a Nike logo on my t-shirt.
No, it's 100% true. But at the same time, like, we understand, and they were even in agreement that it's something that, it's important. Diversity and inclusion is important. But here's the direct quote from Jason Adam. Because ultimately we all said, what we want is them to know that all are welcome and loved here. But when we put it on our bodies, I think a lot of guys decided that it's just a lifestyle that maybe, not that they look down on anybody or think differently, it's just that maybe we don't want to encourage it if we believe in Jesus, who encouraged us to live a lifestyle that would abstain from that behavior. It's not judgmental, it's not looking down, it's just what we believe the lifestyle he's encouraged us to live for our good, not to withhold. But again, we love these men and women, we care about them, and we want them to feel safe and welcome here. Then wear the wear the logo and shut up. Like, plain and simple. Wear the logo and shut up.
Right, and like, how does it? Like, you don't know what's going on in your locker room. Like, you don't know the personal effects of all your teammates. Maybe they have a brother that is gay, or maybe they have a sister that's a lesbian. How do you think that makes them feel to know that that's how you look at the situation? Like, you got to take the temperature of the room. It's bigger than you, dude. It's bigger than you, and it's bigger than your religious beliefs. Whether you like it or not, you're a professional athlete and you're on a platform. And when you do things like that, it just changes public perception.
Right. And this is where Michael Sam or a Carl Nassib or, Billy Bean. This is why guys stay in the closet, because of idiots like this who, we love you, but we can't support your lifestyle. It's just like, dude, like you said, read the room. Like if we're if we are a team, if you're my brother, then you're my brother, regardless of whether I'm gay or not. Right. And it's just, it's unconscionable at this point unconscionable, I should say, at this point in time. Like how far we've come, it shows you that we really haven't come that far at all.
No, and like I said, I don't think you really understood. Like there are kids in the stands, there are kids watching on TV, and you doing this, you've maybe hurt them a little bit. Like maybe they're not going to come out now because they don't see that support from the people around them. And again, it's a baseball game. You could take that jersey off tomorrow and never wear it again. But for you to make an event out of it and bring this bogus like reasoning behind it, it's just absurd. Like, it's just absurd. Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood. But moving on, the NBA Finals are tied 1-1 with Game 3 in Boston scheduled for tomorrow night. Can we expect a blowout like we saw in Game 2, or a more contested game like we saw in Game 1?
Well, is Clay going to shoot 4 from 19 again?
Right.
That's all. That's my question. That's all. Like, is Steph going to shoot 9 for 21? Like, if these are the things, you live by the 3, you die by the 3, and you live by the jump shooting, you die by the jump shooting. And the Warriors, have been inconsistent, which is what we thought would happen. So, kudos to, let's give credit where credit is due. You're listening to ESPN talking about like, oh, how does Klay Thompson get back on track? Klay Thompson is being guarded by good defensive players. Give some credit. Now, Klay, a shooter needs to keep shooting. Like that's how a shooter gets out of a slump. You keep shooting. So that's definitely the thing. Now, I don't expect blowouts. I mean, I don't, the Game 1 result was a little bit of an anomaly. So I think that in order for Boston to take control of this series, they definitely need to muck it up a little bit, and they need to make sure that they are contesting every shot and they're really getting out there and driving that point home. Because if the Warriors get rolling, if the Warriors get hot, like we know, they cannot be stopped. Now, that starts with Klay. Like, Klay is the one that really is, looking problematic right now. I mean, Andrew Wiggins, again, 33% from the field. Like, you need more. You need more from these guys. And, they're going up against a stout defensive team. Like, this is, it wasn't going to be easy. And I would agree with the assessment that this is actually one of the lesser talented Warrior teams. So they're going to need to overcome that. And at the same time, they need to neutralize Tatum. They need to neutralize Brown. They need to neutralize Smart. And Al Horford, another one. You have to get in and make sure that you are taking care of business on both ends. And that's the only way you're going to get a more contested game.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, Klay Thompson is going to start knocking down shots, right? Shooters shoot. And I think he said in the press conference he's going to go look back at the Game 6 YouTube for Klay. Game 6 Klay YouTube. I guess he went off in a Game 6 at some time. He's going to go look back at that video. So I think over his career, he's averaging like 30 points a game in Game 6s for some odd reason. But Boston doesn't have the firepower to outscore the Warriors in 4 out of 7 games. I still think the Celtics win the series, but I think Golden State is ready to erupt for a shootout in Game 3 or a lights-out situation. Clay is at his best when he's a rhythm shooter, and that's setting him up to come off the ball and fire away. His game isn't really like dribbling, creating his own shot, going to the basket. Like, that's not his strong point. His strong point is getting set up as a shooter and just knocking them down, especially now that, he's almost 2 season-ending injuries he had. I love Clay and I love his game. If I could come back in another life, I want to come back as Klay Thompson and his ability to shoot. But his mobility is not what it was, So he needs to get his shot off. But I like what they're doing. I like what the Warriors did. They came out and they were shooting. Boston's got to play defense. They got to lock it up. And they were doing a good job. You're right, though. They're doing a good job of locking Klay Thompson down.
Well, the thing is now Steve Kerr, this is a series of adjustments. Steve Kerr has to turn around, see what Ime Udoka is doing defensively, and he has to scheme a way to get Klay Thompson open. Now, Is that using Steph as a decoy on some occasions? Is that, kind of playing off of Andrew Wiggins? Right? Are you, doing more dribble drive, like dribble kick? Like, you have to come up with a way to draw the defense in so that Clay can have an uncontested shot. And that's the thing. Like, if you have a hand in your face, it's less likely that you're going to make the shot, unless you're Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. So, but that's the caliber of shooter that you're dealing with right now. You need to find a way to get him his looks. And, Steve Kerr is a competent coach. He's one of the better coaches in the league. And, he will definitely be able to make that happen.
Do you love brownies? Of course you love brownies. But you know what's better than a brownie? A delicious, handcrafted, gourmet brownie delivered right to your doorstep. That's what our guys at Sweet Life Brownie Co. offer. Chef Tommy D and the crew offer a dozen delicious delights that you will crave, from the classic OB to Dutch apple to campfire s'mores and many more. Check out their website, sweetlifebrownieco.com, for their Friday brownie drops. At noon, their site goes live and you see what they're making. Since you're there, become a site member and earn points. You earn 50 points just by signing up. Make sure you follow on Instagram and Facebook too, at sweetlifebrownie_co, for the latest updates and their latest releases and creations. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com. Give them a call, 845-641-3043, and tell them D&Z sent you. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com, 845-641-3043. Sweet Life Brownie Co., because there's always room for a brownie.
But speaking of making it happen, the Colorado Avalanche, for the first time in 21 years, are going to the Stanley Cup Finals. They destroy the Edmonton Oilers, sweeping them right out the playoffs, coming back from a 3-1 deficit to take the game to overtime, at which point they were able to put it away. Arturi Lehkonen. Remember the name, folks. Arturi Lehkonen scoring the game-winning, series-ending goal. Draisaitl and McDavid were neutralized for most of the series, and the Avalanche were able to outscore them.
22-13 in the series.
22-13, which is amazing considering the fact that, McDavid and Draisaitl are as good as they are. Are the Edmonton Oilers going to get back to the Western Conference Finals next year?
They should feel good that they got to the finals as a 5 seed, right? I mean, but they should also feel pretty bad about the way they played the last 3 games. Especially Game 4, where where they were winning most of the game. They lost it in the third period, and then they lost it in overtime. Nobody wins alone, and the better team won this series. Edmonton might have had the two best players, but the Avalanche as a group played so well together. They were never down and out. The Oilers played with a special urgency in Game 4, but they need to play with that urgency all series, and they just didn't, They were quick to the puck, quick to the boards. You could tell it. They knew what was on the line last night, but it was too late. So I think they're still a player or two away from, getting to a Western Conference Finals and getting to a Stanley Cup. But one thing was clear to me in watching this series is that as good as McDavid is, he's no Gretzky, he's no Lemieux, he's no Messier.
This team is very top heavy. All right, it's a heavy reliance on its top six. You're looking at, Zach Hyman, you have Draisaitl, you have McDavid, Nugent Hopkins. Like, that's kind of it. Zach Cassian chipped in with a goal.
Keith? Duncan Keith's on their team or no?
Duncan Keith is on the team. That is kind of, to me, like, that is an issue right there. You have Evan Bouchard, you have Cody Ceci, Tyson Barrie.
See, I thought he played well. In this, especially last night.
I mean, Duncan Keith can give you a game. The problem is that he's been so beaten up in his career, you can't count on him to be a number one defenseman anymore. You have Chris Russell, Darnell Nurse. They have decent defensemen. They definitely need to clean it up. They need to get, more talented players, specifically in the bottom six of this roster, because it really can't be McDavid and a bunch of other guys. And Mike Smith, they need to upgrade in goal.
Yeah.
They need to.
He shit the bed last night. He was at the moment when you could tell the moment was too big for him. Yeah. I hate to say that about the guy, but it really was. It even got too big for the Avalanche's goalie at one point, where I believe the Avalanche went up 4-3, and then he gave up the tying goal.
Right, but Francouz has a reason. Francouz is a backup. Like, he has a valid reason. This would be if Louis Domingue was in the game, Didn't
they change goalies at the start of the period, or was I just making that up?
I don't know. Well, I mean, because Francouz has been in since the injury, so he's been doing what he can do, and now he's going to be the starting goaltender in the Stanley Cup Finals. But one thing that we do need to talk about is that they touched the Campbell Trophy. You're not supposed to do that. Do you believe in the curse of touching the conference final trophy?
No, I don't believe in the curse.
Really? Come on.
No, I'm not a superstitious guy.
Not even a little stitious?
Not even a little bit. I don't worry about walking on the foul line when I walk onto a field, and I don't need to wipe my feet before I go on a basketball court. I'm not about that lifestyle.
That's fair enough, but it's enough of a superstition in the sport that you already have people, wondering whether or not. But honestly, it's not that's going to be a deciding factor. It's going to be that they have to wait for the winner of the Rangers and the Avalanche, right? Or the Rangers and the Lightning, I should say. Wrong natural disaster. But on the other side of the room, right, on the other side of the country, the Rangers were one period away from going up 3-0 on the Lightning. Now, the Lightning rallied it from 2-0, and they scored the go-ahead goal with 40 seconds left. Andre Palat with a great feed from Nikita Kucherov, tipped by Shesterkin, but didn't get enough of it. And did the Rangers miss out on an opportunity to make their way into the finals?
I was texting you during this game, and man, I think Kucherov is so good. I literally think he's like one of the best players on both teams. Like, that setup was just gorgeous. And I see Palat's not even going to be able to play in tonight's game because of a lower body injury, which is wild. Like, this guy makes the game-winning shot, and he can't even play tonight. So I'm going to say no. I think it all depends on what happens tonight. Yes, if they were able to win and, the last game and be up 3-0, it pretty much would cement them to go into the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, they definitely left the door open a little bit for the Lightning, but they have a real chance to slam it shut tonight if they could win tonight. Because I think if they win tonight, they go into Game 5 at home. They're definitely winning it. The Rangers seem like a buzzsaw right now. They broke the Lightning's undefeated streak after a loss. The Lightning were 17-0 after a loss through the last, during their whole playoff run. Rangers broke that streak. They seem unafraid by them. They seem to be able to get it by, the Tampa Bay goalie. And, Igor Shesterkin is playing. He's playing like the goalie he was during the regular season. There's nothing that's shown that there's a chip in that armor. I mean, yeah, they lost last night 3-2, 2 nights ago 3-2. But listen, that's nothing. That's nothing like what happened in the Pittsburgh series or anything that happened when they were playing the Hurricanes. So I'm not worried about the Rangers at all. I think they win tonight, and I think they're going to be going to the Stanley Cup Finals.
The home team has won in each of the contests. So we still have not had a series yet. Now,
series doesn't start until the road team wins, right?
Exactly. So we still have not seen that yet. The Rangers are playing the Lightning hard. They're playing physical. They're doing exactly the things that they need to do. What they need to do defensively is shut down Nikita Kucherov. Now, you can neutralize him with physical play.
Yeah.
You've been doing that.
Yeah.
You definitely can do that in the same vein that Sidney Crosby was neutralized. You have to make the other guys beat you, and that's what happened the other night. Andre Palat beat you. It's okay. But you lost to the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions. You didn't lose, and it's one game. Nobody light their hair on fire. Nobody anoint the Tampa Bay Lightning as going back to the Stanley Cup Finals. ESPN, I am looking at you. Like Levy, McDonough, Ray Ferraro, Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon, Fawn tripped over themselves to blow the Lightning. Like, it is amazing to me.
It's the better story. It's the better story, right?
No, the better story is the team that has not won in 30 years.
No.
Yes.
The better story is the three-peat, because no one's done it since the Islanders from the 80s. Like, that's the better story. Like, yeah, the Rangers is a good story. Their original 6 team, they haven't won it since 94. And I would agree with the Rangers being the story if you didn't have a team that was ready to win their 3rd cup in a row. That just doesn't happen these days, especially in the days of free agency. What's astounding is that Marc Messier has correctly chosen every winner of every series so far in this finals. You believe that? He's 14 for 14. My man.
I believe that. I mean,
and he picked the Rangers in 7.
So who am I? Who am I to pick against Mess? And frankly, I'm not going to pick against Mess because I'm a Ranger fan. So I am hoping that Mess is right about that, but they need to keep up with the physical play. Ryan Strome's injury is definitely going to be a problem. Kevin Rooney being inserted into the lineup is already a liability because he is the one who, kind of lost sight on the first goal tonight. So he lost sight of Pat Maroon, didn't put a body on him, and he chipped one past Igor Shesterkin for the 1-0 lead. They definitely need to rely on that kid line. If you have your Zibanejads, you have your Kreiders, you have your Panarins, but the kid line, you have Philip Hedl, Alexei Lafreniere, Capo Caco. That line is humming. Just let them go. Young legs, they're hungry. Let them work. The superstars will find their way in. That's what happened in Game 1. A few defensive lapses by the Lightning left for a wide open opportunity, and the Rangers capitalized on that. So if the Rangers are able to, make some breaks and capitalize on said breaks, there is no reason why we can't have a Rangers Avalanche Stanley Cup final.
Well, the Tampa Bay Lightning, their style of play is so smooth. I feel like they don't waste time. Their passes are crisp. They understand. You can tell this team has been together. They dump the puck well. And the one thing I did see the last 3 games actually is how the Rangers were able to get up on the Lightning by quick passing them and finding open shots, which it seems to be the recipe for beating the Lightning, is just being quicker, like not letting them get into their sets. Once they're in their sets, they're hard to beat, and they kill penalties better than anybody, man. Like, it's just it's unbelievable. It would be an unbelievable accomplishment for the Rangers to beat the Lightning to get to the Stanley Cup.
Well, the Lightning just took a 2-0 lead as Kucherov just scored, assisted by Palat. So
Kucherov, he's so good, man. He's so good. I'm telling you, and he's only 28 years old. I thought he was much older than that. Like, he's so damn good.
Well, I mean, he's a good player, but he can be beat. And the Rangers definitely need to make sure that they are staying physical, but not crossing the line. And that's something that's actually been a point of emphasis, that, the goalies have been bumped a little bit on both sides. So, the refs need to make sure they're calling it. They're calling it consistently.
Yeah, and I think they're doing a good job. They're doing a solid job.
They missed the one with Shesterkin got a stick in the throat.
Yeah, so he's been getting beat up a lot, and I think Gallant has said something to the supervisors and has said something to the refs, because he does feel like they're in the crease a lot, and they've been banging him around. Shesterkin seems to not think so. He's fine with it, but he's paying attention to everything else that's going on in front of him and not necessarily paying attention to the people hitting him all around him.
Well, that's the thing, though. You gotta play the game. If you're Igor Shesterkin and your coach is trying to work the refs, like in basketball, work the refs.
Yeah.
You gotta play the game.
Are you in need of air care, maintenance, or service? I have the company for you. Air Care Technicians. They service the Westchester and Northern Bronx area and can help you with all your heating and cooling, maintenance, and service needs. Just give them a call at 914-315-1547. Again, that's 914-315-1547. Or shoot them an email at aircaretechnicians@gmail.com. These guys are the real deal, as they are veteran-owned, licensed, and insured. Make sure to tell them that D&Z sent you.
There will be 3 New York Jets added to the Ring of Honor this year, right? Speaking of playing the game, Darrelle Revis, Mr. I'm going to play games with my contract. I'm going to hold out. Trade me. I just want more money. Darrelle Revis is the headliner of this class for your New York Jets Ring of Honor, along with Nick Mangold and DeBrickashaw Ferguson. So personally for me, I think DeBrick and Mangold, fine. I have a personal issue with Darrelle Revis, but is this good for you, or is this too soon? As a loyal member of the flight crew.
Listen, when this first came out, I texted you immediately, and I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a gag, right? Revis has won Super Bowl with the Patriots, and he had one season where he should have been Defensive Player of the Year. I'll give him that, no doubt. In 10 seasons, the DeBrickashaw Ferguson only made 3 Pro Bowls, so 30% of his career. So 70% of his career, he was just another guy. Nick Mangold, 10 seasons, 7-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. Neither guy has any chips, right? So I had a beef with it. And I was like, what? How? Like, why? I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense, right? But then I took a look at the other players in the Jets Ring of Honor. So in the Jets Ring of Honor, they have 18 players.
Okay.
Of the 18 players, 9 of them are champions, and 5 of them are Hall of Famers. So the Jets like to chuck it up to mediocrity, right? They're just, I'm just telling you numbers, right? To me, that's mediocrity, right? So listen, a case can be made for Nick Mangold. I think there can. That's pretty impressive. Out of 10 years, you were a 7-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, no chips. Okay. Mark Gastineau had the sack record. He had Marty Lyons part of the sack exchange. All right. Okay, we can put you in. But, man, Revis Island, yeah, defensive player. But, dude, not Ferguson. And I love Ferguson. He's probably my favorite out of those three guys. He's my favorite person. As a person, nobody better. He's not a Ring of Honor guy. Sorry. Like, what happens when the Jets finally do win another Super Bowl? Are you going to put the whole team in the damn Ring of Honor? Like, where do we cross the line? How come Jonathan Vilma's not in the Ring of Honor? He won a Super Bowl. He was a Pro Bowler. I think he would have some All-Pros. I mean, am I missing? Am I wrong? Like, how are you going to put a guy who won a Super Bowl for your rival in your Ring of Honor? How do you do that?
Well, based on what he did as a Jet. It's based on what he did.
You can't put, like, for instance,
but
no matter...
If by your standard, only Broadway Joe would be it.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. Right? He's the first person to ever make a guarantee and come through on it. Okay, but let's look at their Ring of Honor. Listen, okay. Weeb Ewbank, yes, he's a Hall of Famer. Mark Gastineau, he has the sack record. Forget about Strahan, he's got the sack record. Okay, fine. Then we got Larry Grantham, Super Bowl winner. Winston Hill, Super Bowl winner. Joe Klecko, sack exchange. Curtis Martin, Hall of Famer. Don Maynard, Hall of Famer. Joe Namath. Joe Namath. All right, now it gets a little Freeman McNeil. I mean, all right, I guess. I mean, all right. Gary Philbin, Super Bowl winner. Al Toon. All right, I guess. Wesley Walker, really? I love Wesley, but really? Maury Lyons, sack exchange. Wayne Corbett. All right, he's Mr. Jet, I guess. I mean, Leon Hess, Super Bowl winner. Emerson Boozer, Super Bowl winner. Mark Snelt, Super Bowl winner. Kevin Mawai, Hall of Famer. So where are you putting DeBrickashaw Ferguson on this list? Next to Kevin Mawai, the Hall of Famer? Next to the guys on the line that have Super Bowl rings? That's what I'm trying to say. It's like you're doing a discredit to the people that are already in your Ring of Honor by putting a man that only made 3 Pro Bowls. He made 3 Pro Bowls. I made more Pro Bowls than him. Didn't play it down. I mean, come on. That's all I'm trying to say is, like, you're discrediting your Ring of Honor. Like Jonathan Vilma doesn't get in. Chad Pennington doesn't get in. They're never going to get in. Why would they get in? They're not going to get in. Some would argue that Chad Pennington is more valuable than DeBrickashaw Ferguson was in their careers with the Jets. No.
Chad Pennington's the second greatest quarterback in Jets history.
And he ain't getting in. He's got nothing. He has nothing. He doesn't have Pro Bowls. He doesn't have Pro Bowls. He won comeback player of the year twice. That's what he's got. He was drafted the same year as Tom Brady. That's it. That's all a man's got. He ain't ever getting in, and he should get in. He's really good.
Right. Well, based on this rationale, I mean, who's going to be next? Rex?
I don't know. Mark Sanchez?
Right.
He went to 3 AFC championship games, right?
You're going to start honoring those teams, right? You're going to, the last time the Jets were relevant and the last time they were any good.
Antonio Cromartie?
I mean, if Revis is in, Cromartie's got to be.
LaDainian Tomlinson?
Thomas Jones.
Thomas Jones, yeah, right? Thomas Jones was a good player for them. I think he had 1,000-yard seasons while he was there. Lavernius Coles?
If Corbett's in, Coles is in. I would say Jericho Cotchery.
How could he not be in? Jericho Cotchery, yeah. How could you not put these guys in? This is the problem with this bullshit. So that's why when I look at it initially, I was like, this is a joke. If you can make an argument for Nick Mangold, you can make an argument for Darrelle Revis, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, I can't figure that out. Because like I said, the problem becomes like when you do start winning again, when you do win a Super Bowl, what are you going to do with the guys that are on that team that got in? Let's see Zach Wilson wins 2 Super Bowls. Well, okay, he gets in, right?
Yeah.
Then what about his offensive line? Mekhi Becton. He gets in with 2 Super Bowls, right? And where's he going? He goes next to DeBrickashaw Ferguson, who made 3 Pro Bowls? Come on, man. That just doesn't make any sense. What was the other guy we had? There was another guy we had that was really good. I think his name was Adrian Moore. He was a lineman, and he was awesome. He played every position on the offensive line the years I was there.
You had a lot of guys like Brandon Moore, I think was his name. Was it
Brandon
Moore?
Yes, Brandon Moore. Brandon Moore. What about Pete Kendall? Pete Kendall played every position. Another guy played every position on the offensive line. Alan Faneca was a Jet.
Yeah, Alan Faneca.
Alan Faneca was a Jet. Does he not get in? Like, where do we draw the line here? Like,
I think it Anthony Becht. I think that's where we kind of draw the line.
Like, this is a situation where DeBrickashaw Ferguson, go get your jersey retired at your high school out in Long Island and get into that Ring of Honor and that Hall of Fame and call it a day. But no, you're not a Jets Ring of Honor guy. You're not a Jets Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, you're just another guy that played left tackle for the New York Jets.
If you've ever listened to a podcast and thought to yourself, hey, I can do this, then do I have the tools for you? If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. No specialty training, no specialty programs needed. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. Plus, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. How cool is that? It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Go to anchor.fm and get started today. That's anchor.fm. What are you waiting for? Download the app. More or less?
All right, boys and girls, here's how it goes. We have a statement, and it's either more likely or less likely that it's going to happen. Now, full disclosure, we were going to start a different way, but we had a little bit of breaking news on this one, so we have to alter it midstream. More likely or less likely, Joe Madden will manage again in Major League Baseball.
Man, this all comes off because he just got fired. He started off the season 24-13. He had the 5th best record in baseball. Then they lost 11 straight, and I believe they lost 12 of their last 17 games, something crazy like that. Now they have the 18th worst record in baseball. I mean, I think he will. It's kind of odd that he didn't have more success with the Angels, but a lot of this is on the players. Like, a lot of this is on Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon, those guys that they just been playing awful. I could totally see him going to a team like Seattle, Texas, or Oakland and making them a winner. He's a good coach. He's a player's coach. He gets it. He's been around for a long time.
I'm going to go more likely that he's going to get another shot just because he's got that ring. He is the guy that, in accordance with Theo Epstein, he is the guy that broke the Chicago Cubs curse. So that opens doors for you. It certainly opened the door to Artie Moreno, right? Because he was the bench coach for Mike Scioscia when they won the World Series. So there was already a familiarity with the organization. But you have to put this on the players. I'm sorry. Just in the same way, I argued that you can't put this on Joe Girardi. You cannot put this on Madden. At some point, the players need to play, especially with the caliber of players that you have on this roster. Artie Moreno is not pinching pennies. He's not the Oakland A's. He just went out and he revamped that rotation, right? He brought in Noah Syndergaard. He brought in Michael Lorenzen. He traded for Raisel Iglesias a couple of years ago to be their shutdown closer. He stinks. They brought in Aaron Loop from the Mets. He stinks. So Aaron Loop had a .92 ERA last year for the Mets. I think it's like close to 5 now, I believe. You're signing a guy at 34 off a career year. This is bound to happen. You bring in Anthony Rendon. This is what happens when you star hunt. You're now left with a situation where Mike Trout and a bunch of other guys, because if you look at the roster right now, because Rendon is hurt, shocker, Anthony Rendon is hurt. I'm surprised Mike Trout's active, to be perfectly honest. You're looking at Brandon Marsh, Waddell, Juan Lagares, Matt Duffy, Andrew Velasquez, Tyler Wade, Jared Walsh. Like, really? Like, that is not, that's when you need that's not a great major league roster once that top layer of star player is removed, right? Go back to when Moreno first bought the team. He threw a boatload of dough at Josh Hamilton and Albert Pujols. How many wins did they get with that? The last time they made the playoffs was 2014. And they promptly got knocked the fuck out. So this is a failure of ownership. This is a failure of the players. And I think that, that Joe Maddon's going to get a better opportunity somewhere else, and he's going to be successful. Same thing with Joe Girardi. I think Girardi might get one last run. If Buck Showalter could get 4 runs as a major league manager, I think that both of these guys will get another shot. Now, my question to you is, who gets it first, Maddon or Girardi?
Maddon.
Interesting. More or less, DeAndre Ayton will get traded this offseason.
I mean, early reports are indicating that Phoenix is looking to deal him. They're looking to get rid of their big guy. If you're a team like the Hornets, the 76ers, the Magic, or the Pelicans, you should give the Suns a call. So I'm saying it's going to be more likely.
Well, it seems like they're moving in a different direction offensively. They're definitely focusing more on Devin Booker and, guard play. So, he's averaging for his career 16 and 11. So solid, not great. 50, about 60% from the field, solid. Now, there are plenty of teams that are young and on the come that might want a big man presence like DeAndre Ayton. The question is, do you have the necessary players? Do you have the necessary, contracts to match up this kind of move? And Charlotte is very interesting, especially when we couple in our next topic. But I don't know about Charlotte. That one's going to be interesting. New Orleans is an interesting, it's interesting from the standpoint of what is going back to Phoenix. Now, do you really want to break up this team that seemed to gel and with CJ McCollum there? And are you comfortable adding Zion into that mix? Or maybe you just swap an Ayton for Zion, a 1-for-1, and hope that the change of scenery does them good. I don't know if you do that. Philly, I don't know if Philly has I don't know if they have the stomach for this. Joel Embiid, great, fine, whatever. But I think they have prioritized James Harden to the point where I don't think they're going to make this move. But, stranger things have happened. And DeAndre Ayton, he's definitely on the move. He definitely seems to be. They definitely seem to have soured on him in Phoenix. And if I'm looking at potential targets, definitely more Eastern Conference than Western Conference, because I don't think Phoenix would want him coming around and biting them in the ass. More or less, number 3, Mike D'Antoni will be the next head coach of the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, look, the reports indicate Jordan is deciding between D'Antoni and Kenny Atkinson. I'm not fond of either candidate, but I'd like to see what D'Antoni could do with Lonzo Ball, especially since he had so much success with James Harden and Steve Nash. So I'm going to say more likely.
Well, we know from his style of play, he wants to get out, he wants to run and gun, he wants to get out fast, 7 seconds or less. Can these guys actually do that? Do they have the stamina? Do they have the athleticism to make that happen? Because if you're looking at the roster, right, you have LaMelo Ball, solid. Miles Bridges, good player. You have Montrezl Harrell, okay. So you have some talent here. Gordon Hayward. Now, whether or not he stays is another another thing altogether. Kelly Oubra's there. So Terry Rozier. You have some guys who might be able to thrive in his offense. Kenny Atkinson is a teacher, right? And I think the teacher mindset has kind of soured in Charlotte because James Borrego was hired to be the teacher as well. And that only gets you so far. And it only got Kenny Atkinson so far. At some point, you need to transition from, all right, these guys are young, we're going to teach them, to it's time to turn the winning on. I don't know if they're necessarily ready for it, but they're, LaMelo Ball in this offense, that could be really interesting just from the simple standpoint of, speed. Like, speed kills, and that is what Mike D'Antoni brings to an offense. Defensively, you're getting nothing. Defensively, he needs to bring in a defensive coordinator. And I think that's why J.B. Bickerstaff was there. So, ultimately, you're going to be sacrificing a lot on one end of the court to optimize the other end of the court. And that's the reason, that's primarily the reason why the Suns didn't win anything. If we like to talk about the 7 seconds or less, we like to lionize Mike D'Antoni as a coach and as a visionary, but he hasn't won anything. You're looking at, he's 672 career regular season wins. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. He also has 527 regular season losses. So we're going to see, we're going to see what's going to happen. I definitely agree with you that he's going to get the nod over Kenny Atkinson, and they're going to be entertaining, but I don't know if he's going to take them over the hill and get them out of that play-in tournament.
You can't help but smile when you see a balloon. The simplest occasion is a party. Westchester Pop Stars, located in New Rochelle, New York, offers balloon styling and decor for all life's events. Birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, showers, school and corporate events, store openings, or just because. Westchester Pop Stars takes balloons and shapes them into works of art, creating decorative installations for your special occasions. No event is too big or too small, and their custom personalization service is top-notch. Westchester Pop Stars is a private studio, quickly expanding. In-person consultation is by appointment only. Send an email to westchesterpopstars@gmail.com for more information or to schedule an appointment. No need to hire an event stylist. All you need is balloons. Currently servicing Westchester, Putnam, New York City, and Connecticut. To find Westchester Pop Stars, search for them on Instagram, Facebook, or Google.
The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award.
All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. We give our nominees, and then we put up a poll on our Twitter page at FadeRouteDNZ. It's up for a week, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote. We announce the winners on this here show. And do you know who took home the coveted ass trophy last week, dude?
I'm not sure.
French security. UEFA, you got some splaining to do. French security, you guys dropped the ball. You're pepper spraying Liverpool fans, and you screwed the pooch. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award, D?
First up, I've got the Tampa Bay Rays players that refuse to wear a rainbow-colored logo on their jersey for Pride Night. Man, you gotta own up and just appreciate the fans. It's a larger situation than you. Second of my alleged superstars of the week, we got Mike Trout, supposedly the best player in baseball. Went 0 for 26 at one point during his team's 12-game losing streak, getting his manager fired. Looks like you're going to be missing the playoffs again, Mike. Mike Trout, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And last and always least, Adam Silver. Reports are you're considering making NBA first team and second team nominations positionless. That has to be one of the most ridiculous suggestions I have ever heard. This coming from the guy who's still trying to figure out how to incentivize his players to play more games. Adam Silver, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Z, what do you got?
First of all, can we make NBA commissioner positionless?
Jeez, unbelievable. Are you kidding me? Just so people can get their bonuses?
Can we get rid of this Muppet?
This
Like,
is
seriously.
ridiculous. Dude, just because Joel Embiid didn't his $4 million bonus? Come on, man. Come on. Joker won the MVP. That's why he's first team. Joel Embiid, your second team. End of story. What
That's
are we
it.
talking about here?
That is it, and that is all. But you know what? That's fine, Adam Silver. Oh, man. I feel like my first alleged superstar nominee is starting to become a mainstay on here. And frankly, we may need to name the award after him. Deshaun Watson. In total, according to a report, there are 66 affidavits that you paid or met with 66 women from his office, right? Now, some of them are named in these lawsuits. Some filed criminal complaints. Some were affidavits on behalf of Watson, as gotten by Rusty Hardin, his lawyer, who's an idiot unto himself, where he started to break down the nuances of a happy ending. But there will be no happy ending here. There will be no happy ending for Deshaun Watson. There will be no happy ending for Rusty Hardin. There will be no happy ending for the NFL. There will be no happy ending for the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Jim Cott, for stepping in it once again, referring to Yankees pitcher Nestor Cortez as Nestor the Molester,
Jeez.
rather than his nickname of Nasty Nestor, about how he molests the strike zone. Like, I don't know where you're going with that, kitty, but you're 83, and this is your second time in 2 years. You might need to. You just might need to step away.
You gotta change it up, man. You gotta change it up.
You might just need to go in the Airstream and just, call it a career. Joey Gallo, for responding to a question regarding why he doesn't hit against the shift with, fans wouldn't do it if they were up either. Like, why are you attacking the fans? Like, that you never win when you attack the fans, Joey. Never, ever, never, never, never. The Yankee fans don't like you. You apparently don't like being here. Just pull an Andujar and ask to be traded. Don't take on the fans. You will not win. Joey Gallo, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And while we're at it, Bryce Harper, for taking a shot at Joe Girardi on the way out. Joe Girardi might not be out if your elbow wasn't hurt and they didn't have to play Castellanos and these scrubs, these butchers, out in the outfield. So zip your lip and play baseball. Bryce Harper, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we've made our cases, ladies and gentlemen. Look for the poll and vote and vote and vote and vote. And for our nominees. Just do better, boys. Just do better.
Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade store with DNZ.com today for all your Fade Route merch needs. I'm talking tank tops, t-shirts, sweatshirts, like yoga pants, we got those too. Like some cool accessories, we got those too. And we're not done yet. We have so much more planned for you, but check out what we have today at the Fade store with DNZ.com. That's the Fade Store with DNZ.com. Order up! All right, boys and girls, it's time for us to order up.
Order up, order up.
This week, we're continuing our jersey orders, and this week, we're doing our top 5 all-time baseball jerseys. From 5 to 1, who you got, Dave?
All right, I'm going to start off with the classic, even though I hate it. It's iconic. I'm going with the Yankees home jersey. Yankees win all of their games because everyone is looking at the pinstripes. Christopher Walken and Catch Me If You Can. White jerseys with the navy blue pinstripes, navy blue interlocking NY over the heart, navy blue numbers on the back, and no name. Number 4, Chicago Cubs home jersey. I got the Rizzo one. I love it. White with blue pinstripes. Big red C over the heart with a blue circle around it. Hot jersey. Number 3, you might think it's weird, but I love it. Chicago White Sox road jersey. Gray jersey with the scripted Chicago on the front in black. Love it. Number 2, Braves home jersey. White jersey. Braves across the front in red with the red tomahawk below the word Braves. And number 1, I know you're going to think it's weird, but I loved it when I had it. It's the San Francisco Giants road jersey. Gray, San Francisco across the front in black letters with the orange outlining. I had the Tim Lincecum for a number of years, and then I flipped it. But that was mine. What do you got, Z?
Solid choices. All solid choices. I'm going retro with a few of them. Some of them that,
Don't tell me you got the Astros on there.
Oh, God, no. I'm going mid-90s California Angels.
Okay, yeah.
Angels in the outfield, that one.
That's nice.
So
jersey.
that is slick.
Nice hat, too.
Yeah, the interlocking CA, that is beautiful. Whether it's the home white or the road gray, that was slick. That's
Both
my number 5.
Nice. Both jerseys are nice.
Both of them are great. Number 4, the pinstripe. I have 4 tied with a pinstripe. Pretty much anything with a pinstripe is great. The Yankees are great. The White Sox are great. The Rockies are great. Like anything with a pinstripe is just like killer. But I really like of those. Remember the old Florida Marlins ones with the F with the Marlin like coming out of it and it's pinstripes.
Yeah.
Slick.
Cool
I like that. Was a pretty cool jersey. It was just so different from what they were doing. And I think that stands out, among the rest. Number 3, the Milwaukee Brewers, like the early 2000 ones, like the Jeff Jenkins era and the Jeremy Burnitz era, where they had they had the wheat and the script M, and it was just classic, Like it makes you think of like Ben Sheets. And like it really takes you back to when the Brewers were, a solid team, and perennial contenders. And for some people, it even harkens back to when they were in the American League. I'm just saying. Number 2, this is a tough one because they're both black jerseys. Now, which one do I like better? Do I like the Mets? The older ones, not the new ones. The new one, the blue is different. It's a brighter blue. I like the old one from like 2000 where it was like the darker blue. Or do I prefer the White Sox? The White Sox with the socks on the left side and then the white lettering on the all black. I have to say the Mets are number 2. Then the Mets are definitely number 2. It's a great jersey. I love it. I love the cap. I don't know what I did with it. I need to buy another one of those black caps. But for me, I like the White Sox. The White Sox black jersey, it's just slick. It's been great for years. They don't need to change a thing. And,
that Jack McDowell jersey.
Yes, Jack McDowell, Alex Fernandez, Wilson Alvarez, Frank Thomas. Robin Ventura, like that era. That era.
Mags.
Oh, Magpipes. Yes, Magpipes. Even Rock Reigns wore it. So, like, that jersey is as iconic in the American League as the Yankees. And I just know the black jersey, like, it just is really slick.
This has been the Fade Route with D&Z. Thanks for tuning in tonight. You catch our podcast on Wednesday nights on Anchor, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your podcast. Until next time, stay faded, everyone.
Time for us to run the go wrap, but we'll talk to you next week.
If you want to get on the action, we want to hear from you. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com. Slide in our DMs on IG @FadeRoutePodcast. Drop us a DM on Twitter @FadeRouteDNZ. Comment on our YouTube channel, The Fade Route with DNZ. Questions, comments, picks, segment suggestions, you name it, we want to hear from you. Get at us, in crowd.